Charles Sumner was described by the poet Henry Longfellow as a colossus holding his burning heart in his hand. A burning heart that bled for abolition, racial justice, and constitutional democracy. He was a 6'4" Bostonian lawyer with a wild mane of chestnut hair, thick sideburns, broad shoulders, and a sonorous voice that could roar like a lion. He was a polyglot who knew 6 languages, and a worldly man who counted Charles Dickens, Ralph Waldo Emerson, and Alexis de Tocqueville among his friends. He possessed a towering presence and intellectual prowess, even as he dealt with childhood poverty, suicidal thoughts, depression, and heartbreak. A controversial and hypersensitive man who craved praise, he often cried in front of his friends when he didn't receive the gratitude he thought he deserved for his service to his country. Born in 1811, Sumner was the most famous civil rights leader of the 19th century, much like Martin Luther King Jr. in the 20th century. He was a household name in his era. He began earning national fame and notoriety for his civil rights work in the fall of 1849, when he joined a black lawyer on the first case argued by an interracial legal team in American history. Together, they represented a young black girl who tried to attend one of Boston's white-only public schools. More than a century before Brown v. Board of Education, Sumner thundered against the arbitrary discrimination of color in a Massachusetts courtroom. In this forgotten case, Roberts v. City of Boston, Sumner coined a phrase that had never before been heard in American jurisprudence: equality before the law. Believing that equality should be the cornerstone of constitutional democracy, Sumner said that the Declaration of Independence's promise that all men are created equal should be legally concretized, such that no American would suffer discrimination for being born white or black. The equality which was declared by our fathers in 1776, he asserted, was equality before the law. While he lost the case, Sumner won an election to the U.S. Senate as a third-party candidate in 1851, succeeding the renowned Daniel Webster. There, he confronted the cadre of pro-slavery senators who dominated America, whom he described as being members of a slave oligarchy. The slave oligarchs insisted on the inherent superiority of whites and sought to expand their rich society premised on the exploitation of blacks. Loudly, Sumner denounced his Senate colleagues for imposing repressive fugitive slave laws on the North and expanding the South's slavery into the Western territories. He often did so by cloaking himself in the American founding. Pointing out that he was mentored by John Quincy Adams, he charged enslavers of committing treason against the Declaration of Independence, which Adams's father had helped write. He also popularized the argument, later adopted by